Okay, I feel really crooked and I'm really shiny. But welcome back to my channel. If you saw my last video, the update video, I am in the same outfit. I like to record 2 videos a day, so here we are in the same outfit. This video is my 150th video. So I've been doing YouTube for a little bit, and well, I guess that's not that many, but whatever. And for this video, I'm doing a Q&A. I asked on my social medias for questions, and I have quite a few, so let's get right started, or let's get right into it. Okay, so the first question is, how do you make friends in a new city? For me, what I personally do is I look on social media. I try to find people who go to school. Well, for me, I moved to a new city for school. In the last city I moved to, Pittsburgh, I moved for school. So what I did was I tried to find people who, one, lived in Pittsburgh, that went to school or in grad programs. 2, I just looked for people who were like doing stuff with their life. Like, that sounds so bad, but like I tried to find people on Twitter and on Instagram. I would go through like the hashtags of like Black STL, STL, Black Pittsburgh, and I would look through those hashtags and sort of befriend people like that. I would follow them on their social media and talk to them like that. There's also group chats, GroupMe. So I know there's one in Pittsburgh for sure. There's probably one in St. Louis, I just haven't joined it yet. But I joined like a Black young professionals group chat in Pittsburgh, and that was a great way to meet people. They were always hosting events, and that's pretty much how I do it. You can also do it by going to church if you're like faith-based. Try to find like, well, what I did was I Googled churches that were sort of young, and then I asked around. My nose is so itchy. Like, if you saw the last video, like the outside of my nose is just itchy, and I don't know why. I'm so sorry. But also in grad school, I haven't started yet. My orientation is next week, but I am going to try to join Black grad school organizations. So like Black Student Alliance, I don't know, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called at St. Louis, but like Black student unions and stuff like that. That's for me. Are you excited about moving to a new city alone? Yes and no. Yes, because I know that I've done it before. Living in Pittsburgh was interesting. Like, I felt like I grew up a lot and I flourished in Pittsburgh. Like, I really like living on my own. Like, it's an adjustment, and being in a new city is an adjustment, but I do like living on my own. And I've been so blessed and fortunate to have stipend and be able to afford to live on my own, and blessed to pay bills, which sounds crazy, but I just think of it as like I have money enough to pay bills. Like, that's crazy to me. And no, yes and no, but the no part is I am a little worried about being so far away from my family. St. Louis to Virginia is about 12 hours, 13 hours really. And this is the farthest I've been from my family, and my family is like my world. So that's gonna be interesting. So yeah, but sorry about that. I'm trying to read the question. But my parents are gracious enough they're probably gonna come out here a lot more, and which is great because I need that sort of support. The next question is, what is your favorite time of year? My favorite time of year is fall. I like being able to wear boots and sweaters. I like back to school time. I just love the fall. I love the trees changing colors. The fall is like my time, like the dark lipstick. I just love the fall. Like, fall is like my favorite season of all. Yeah. What got you into research? So that is it was sort of a series of events. So I took a research methods class in psychology at Hampton University, and I was like, oh, this is really cool, you know, generating new knowledge, whatever. I like that. So then I interned at Stanford for a summer, and I was like, yo, I really like this. Like, for me, it was seeing like all these Black like social scientists and scientists. Like, I was like, I can totally do this. So then I was like, heck yes, this is what I want to do. They encouraged us to apply to PhD programs. I'm like, oh yes, he's just gonna do that. And then I just kind of kept wanting more, so I joined, I became an RA, a research assistant with the Minority Men's Health Initiative for a little bit. And then, yeah, so that's kind of how it got started for me. I took a class and I kind of just was like, you know, I could do this. Like, I like this a lot, so let's just keep it going. So yeah, that's kind of what got me into research. What do you want to research? I want to research everything, but my main thing is, I just told this to somebody today, I'm really interested in the experiences of Black children who are middle and high socioeconomic status and their experiences with racism. I'm really interested to see if being high or middle SES or socioeconomic status sort of exacerbates the amount of racism that a child or a teenager reports seeing in their like everyday life. I'm interested in that because when I was in Pittsburgh, I researched SES differences across race. So I compared Black and white children and how their social-emotional skills different across the same social economic status. Hopefully this makes sense. And I was like, okay, so these kids are looking different. So even if you are in the same SES, like me, I'm in the same SES group as my white counterpart, I'm still not doing as well in social emotional skills. So I'm wondering if that plays into how these kids experience racism. Hopefully that makes sense. That's what I'm really interested in. I'm also interested in how just students navigate being high, like SES, how they learn about their socioeconomic status. That's really interesting to me too, but we can talk about that all day, every day. If you want to know more, comment below and I will share the rest of that. Why are you celibate? For me, celibacy is like an intentional choice of like purity. And you know, for so long there was so many people like, your purity is wrapped up in you not having intercourse, right? And that's not the case. You cannot be having intercourse and still be like not pure of heart. And so for me, celibacy is sort of this pathway of me becoming more pure of heart and focusing more on what God has called me to do and not allowing all these other distractions to like mess up my relationships, mess up how I feel about myself and all that. And I really feel like this is what God has called me to do, and so that's what we're doing. Question number, I don't even know what number we're on. Why do women cheat? I don't know. Somebody asked me this on Instagram. I don't know why women cheat. I don't cheat. I've never cheated on anybody, so I can't answer that. So the next question is, what are your thoughts on remakes of movies and the return of old TV shows? I kind of have mixed feelings about it. Sorry about my email. I think that like people mean well, but I think that the original should just stand true. Like people remaking Rugrats, I'm like, it's never gonna be as good. It's not gonna be, you know, what it was, so don't do it. Like, don't remake it. However, I do like the remake of some movies because like the graphics were so bad back then, and now we have all this new technology and it makes the graphics so much better. I think that remaking some movies, it just, I don't know, it ups the quality, if that makes sense. So yeah. Oh, that was so loud. That was like the loudest I've ever done that. How to find romance in the modern era? Is that even still a thing? I do think that romance is still a thing in the modern era. I think it is. I don't know, for me it's been really difficult to find, but I see people with all these like amazing love stories and I'm like, ugh. I'm like a hopeless romantic, so I think there is still romance in the modern era. It is difficult, but I think that the way to find it is being true in your intentions with people. And when you talk to people, just be like, I'm looking for something more serious. I'm looking for something, you know, because we're sort of in this like generation of like hookup culture. And so that kind of like strips away a lot of the romance. And so I think being very clear about like, this is not a hookup. Like if you want to be with me, like you have to pursue me. yeah. What has been the biggest adjustment you've had to make for grad school? I think moving across the country has been the biggest adjustment, but I think doing the year in Pittsburgh definitely gives me like a leg up because I've been essentially doing grad school for a year. I think the biggest adjustment is like time management, because like in undergrad you kind of have like a schedule, like you have classes and you have like extracurriculars and you can make your own like sort of schedule. But I feel like in grad school, like you have classes, but then there's like all this extra like free time, which isn't free because you're supposed to be doing research, but there's nobody like, okay, from from like noon to 4, you need to be doing research. Like there's nobody there telling you that. I think that was sort of a big adjustment for me. It was, I don't know, like I like to make my own schedule, so it's kind of like a good adjustment. Like now I'm really having to make my own schedule and really having to be more self-motivated. Yeah. What is the hardest part about being single? I think for me, the hardest part about being single is like almost feeling like left out. Like I see like my friends are getting engaged, my friends are getting married, a lot of my friends are in long-term relationships, and it's sort of like, okay, when is it gonna be my turn? And I don't know, it's hard. Like I'm not gonna lie and be like, yeah, I love being single. Like I like being single. Sorry, my nose is so itchy. I like, you know, the freedom that comes with being single, and I just think, I don't know, like single isn't like my final destination, so I'm like ready for that next step sort of. It's not bad. I think it's hard for me because I'm like, okay, like when is this gonna happen? Because I'm like really type A and I'm like plan out. I'm like, okay, like I'm about to be 30. No, I'm about to be 25 and like nothing has happened, and I've only had like 2 real relationships, so it's just like I feel like I don't have like a lot of experience, and so I want to date, but it's like the quality of the men that sometimes pursue me isn't what I want it to be. What is the deepest hurt you felt recently? I think losing my uncle a year after losing Ashton was a really big hurt. My uncle got really sick, and he died earlier this year in May, and I think, I don't know, like losing 2 people back to back in like April, May time, like, well, a year apart is really hard for me, because like I was just finished, like it's a year after my best friend died. Well, my friend Ashton died, and so I was just, you know, really like, okay, like still healing and still grieving that, and then my uncle dies, and it was really hard because my dad and my uncle are really close, and it was really difficult for me, and then I still sort of grapple with it sometimes, because like death is like really hard for me, because it's like a sudden change, and I know that like death is like a part of life, but that's probably the deepest hurt I've dealt with recently, like losing my uncle, like right around the same time I was really grieving losing my friend a year ago. I think that was probably the deepest hurt. So sorry, I keep looking out the window because it looks like they're moving out, like the what do these people call it? The construction workers like office, they're like moving, so they're like moving it out. But yeah, so I think those are all the questions I had. Hang on, let me double check. What's the hardest part about single? What do you look for? Oh, okay, so what do I look for in a man? This is gonna be the last question because this video is awful long. I really think that, well, first things first I look for is God. Like if I don't feel like you have a relationship with God, like it's not it. And then after that, I really want a man who is ambitious. I want him to be, you know, compassionate. My cousin actually, I asked her what kind of guys she thinks I should date, because my cousin Megan is like my sister. Like I love her so much. She said that he needs to be strong and strong-willed. He needs to not let you run all over him. He needs to be quiet because you can't have two talkative people in a relationship and you talk a lot. She said that he needs to be smarter than you at something, but not as smart as you in something you excel at. Somebody who's romantic and knows how to treat a woman, and a video game nerd, because I love video games. I think I want somebody who is like my friend. Like, I feel like this is gonna sound corny, but like, I want somebody who I can be like, man, I had a really hard day, like, let me just talk to you, not necessarily be like, oh well, that sucks, or oh, like, really compassionate about, you know, me. And I feel like I won't say that I haven't dated anybody like that, but I want something real, and I'm just over dating, to be honest. So I want someone who's authentic, who's ambitious. I want somebody, he doesn't necessarily have to be in higher ed. I just want, the reason behind ambition is because, like, he has to be doing something with his life. Like, have goals. Like, if you don't have goals, like, what are you doing? Like, I have a lot of goals, so I want my next partner to have a lot of goals as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, definitely strong-willed. My cousin Megan knows me really well, so I just go with her list. I definitely think strong-willed because, like, I don't want a man that I can run all over, if that makes sense. Like, I'm very strong-willed, and I'm like, yeah, like, very like cut and dry, like, no, this is not happening. But I don't want somebody who I can like push over. Like, I need you to be a leader, and that's what I want in my man. Like, how are you going to lead my family if you can't lead me? So yeah, that's what I want, a leader, and somebody who's strong-willed and that I can't push around. So yeah, so thank you for tuning in for my 150th video. I am super excited about it. Yeah, and so stay tuned for the next video. I'm super excited, and I will see you guys in the next one. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on my social media, all of my social media, Twitter, Instagram, what else is there, Snapchat, Facebook, all of it is t.renae. So if you follow me, I'll put it probably here or here. You can follow me on there, and you can find me, and we can be besties. And that's pretty much it. So peace out, and I love you all so much. Bye.